Hello my friend, welcome to a new video and thank you very much for watching. If you are not like me and actually do celebrate Valentine's Day, then I have a look for you that in my opinion is quite easy to accomplish. It's super glamorous and fabulous and it will make you look even more beautiful and glamorous and fabulous, as if that's even possible because you are already mwah. But anyway, in case you are going out and you do decide to glam up a little bit, here is a makeup look that I think you're going to enjoy and I think it will be flattering and glamorous on you. If you are liking this video, please don't forget to give it a kind thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and absolutely, utterly, most definitely follow me on Instagram because there is where I post lots more makeup tutorials on a weekly basis and beauty tips and tricks and DIYs and live streams and all that good stuff that I know you guys are enjoying. So that is it. I love you for watching. Thank you again for being here and let's get started. Oh, one more thing before I go. I would love to hear from you what your plans are for Valentine's Day. Are you going to be like me, staying in, watching a movie, maybe having a spiked hot cocoa? Or do you have plans? Are you going out to dinner? Are you going to see a movie? What is it? I would love to hear from you. So that's it. Finally, let's get started. So as you can tell, I'm starting the process kind of looking like a wet dog, but it's okay, we'll get there. I have been really into adding a few drops of illuminator in with my foundation and mixing it very thoroughly. That's because I feel like it gives the skin a glow and I'm all about that glow. And then after grabbing the foundation mix with the brush, I really like dropping a few pops of my favorite Rose Gold Elixir because it truly gives the skin that healthy, natural look without making it look oily, if that makes sense. And I'm all about that glow, honey. And then this is a trick that I always get asked about on my Instagram live streams. How can you help make the foundation not look so cakey? So what I like to do after spreading the foundation with the brush, I like to spray a little bit of MAC Fix Plus on a beauty blender and dabbing that beauty blender on areas where makeup tends to cake in, like under the eyes, around the eyebrows, around the nose, top of the cheekbones, and lips. So I'm just gonna let you continue watching because I think you figured out what I've done so far. I've applied a little bit of color corrector and now I'm going to sculpt my face and then I'll be back in just a minute when we're done blending. I'm using my Morphe E16 contour brush. Now after sculpting and blending everything, making sure to bring that color into the hairline and into the ears, not leaving everything untouched, another little trick is to dab a little bit of bronzer on top of the cheekbone area that has been sculpted, maybe even a little bit at the hairline. I do believe that that adds a little bit more definition and a little bit more bronziness, but then when you add a concealer and you do this with a concealer that is one shade lighter than your skin, you are really going to open up your face and really look very chiseled and very contoured. And then of course, it is time to not only set the makeup with a little bit of translucent loose powder, but I also do this trick when I am going to go in with some eyeshadow that is very colorful, because any poopies that will fall from the eyeshadow application will be trapped by that loose powder, and then when you remove the loose powder, you remove the fallout with it as well. So I don't think I need to explain this. This is the brow portion. I really wish I would be better at doing brows. I'm kind of learning as I'm going, so I'm kind of putting myself out there to you guys and showing you the process as I'm going along, but I do hope to get better with brows, and as I get better, I will do more brow-specific tutorials and walk you through the things that I've learned in the process, but I will let you watch and hope you're enjoying this. Oh, and by the way, all the products that I've used are listed in the description box below for you. Moving on to eyeshadow, I thought for Valentine's Day it would be most appropriate to use my Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. And I first started off with the base color, which I've applied at the brow bone. I brought it in to the inner portion of the eye and all the way down to the crease. Grabbing the transition color, I'm applying it with windshield wiper-like movements, and I'm starting to build a V at the outer corner of the eye. And I basically applied 2 coats of each color. One of the more common questions that I get on my Instagram live streams is how can I make my eyeshadow seem more blended and that blending look more effortless? And this right here, my friend, this is one of my absolute favorite tricks. So you saw me apply the base color, you saw me apply the transition color. Now from the transition color moving forward, anytime after I apply a color, I will get the previous brush I used with the previous color and blend on top of it, if that makes sense. So after I applied the transition color, I grabbed the previous brush, the very first brush that I used with that base color, and I blended right there at the edge to make the blending seem more effortless. And even though it may not make a lot of sense now, I promise by the time we're done with the eyes, you're going to get it. Moving on to this beautiful shade of red, I started off by applying a little bit at the outer corner and started creating that V. I always like grabbing a little bit of color to outline and then packing on more color as I go along, because it's always easier to build up than to add too much and then try to remove. And because we're doing a halo eye, I essentially stopped as we got closer to the middle of the lid, and then I replicated the process at the inner corner of the eye. I took a little bit of red and I defined that area. I tried to feather it out toward the crease, and then I started packing on a little bit more red at a time to really add more vibrancy to the color itself. And now here's that trick that I mentioned again. I grabbed the previous brush that I applied the transition color with, and I grabbed some of that transition color, and then I applied it a little bit at the top to create that feathering effect, and then I grabbed the very first brush again with that base color, and I went on top of everything again, if that makes sense. So I think that you're starting to see the little trend. As you apply one color, you grab the previous brush with the previous color and feather it on top, and that's really truly what is going to give you that beautiful, seamless blending look, and it works every time. Now I grabbed this beautiful shade of pink and I applied it in the middle, grabbed a little bit more of that red so I don't lose any of the vibrancy, and then lastly more of the pink to really create that beautiful transition from one color to another. Of course, it's time to remove the loose powder now, and the makeup should be set. Any fallout that you had from applying the eyeshadow would disappear with the powder as you remove it, and it's time to work on the under eye. I started off with that vibrant red and I applied it quite generously, and then I grabbed the pink, and it's the same process that I do on top. I'm trying to feather out using one color on top of the other. So I applied a little bit of this pink and smoked downward even more so that red wouldn't be so concentrated and that radical, you know what I mean, to go from concealed skin to pow red. And then lastly I applied some of that base color at the end to really give that look a more smoked out feel. Now it's time to work on the hair, and honestly I do have 2 left hands when it comes to hair. I'm not exactly the best hair person, but because I had just washed my hair, I started off by first brushing it. I always like brushing from the bottom and upward, and I've made a lot of videos about hair already and how to keep your hair healthy. I'm actually going in a few minutes to get it colored, thank goodness again. After separating it, it's time to dry it. Now normally I have that black little nozzle at the end of my blow dryer, but I seem to have misplaced it, so I couldn't find it. So yeah, I'm totally like trashing it right now. But after blow drying it straight, it's time to take that straightener and just go from top to bottom. Of course, one thing that you haven't seen is that I already have heat protector on my hair already, and look what a difference that is. Then I grab the top portion and replicate the process. First I brush it out, then I'm going to blow dry it straight, and then I'm going to use the straightener and really bring everything together. After the hair is nice and straight, I like to section it off and give it a little pizzazz in the form of volume, because otherwise it's just going to be like blah. So first I make sure it's fully brushed, then I add a little bit of hairspray at the roots and I rub it with my fingers before teasing it. And I like doing that because when I rub it with my hands it gets a little bit more tacky, and I find that it holds the tease a little better. I release the rest of the hair, And before getting to that top section, I like to make sure that it's parted, that my hair is parted the way I want it. And then I basically do the same exact thing. I section it, I apply a little bit of hairspray, I dab it with my hands to let it get tacky, and then I tease it. I forgot the word for a second. I'm like, whatchamacallit. These right here are my favorite eyelashes. Ooh, they look so good. And this is a little trick to conceal the eyelash glue in case you don't want to wear eyeliner. Basically just cover it with the same color eyeshadow. This is actually my favorite drugstore mascara. Next, I'm using this powder. I have to say that I've been falling in love with the Sephora brand products. I find them to be of extremely good quality while still more affordable than a lot of the brands that they carry. I had this powder on for about 6 hours and it didn't shift at all. Of course, I had to match color and just cover my shoulders and the chest area. This is my favorite blush from Sephora. And now I'm going in with this tinted brow gel from Anastasia, not only to hold the brows in place, but to make sure that the color matches with my hair. A little bit of highlight. Woo! Ciao, that's so good. And since I'm wearing a top that has cold shoulders, I went ahead and highlighted the shoulders and the collarbone just to really accentuate the cleavage area. And lastly, I went in with a nude lippy and topped it off with the same highlighter from the Moonchild Glow Kit. And this is the final reveal. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you so much and I really appreciate you for being here. You are so incredibly special and you're most definitely very special to me. I really appreciate you. I hope that you're going to have an amazing week and I love you, sending you lots of really good zhuzh and really good vibes, and I'll see you again in a future days in a new video. Bye!